Hello there, my name's Ross Kocho and I am, I guess, head honcho for everything that is multimedia and infrastructure based with this lovely company we've got coming on board called 4WARDS, and we're looking to change some lives doing it. So Nelson asked me to do just a little talk regarding our logo, the evolution of where it came from, and just some of the things that it represents that crosses over to our core values that we have with 4WARDS. So we spent quite a bit of time, as you can imagine, on our logo, and we sort of had to go through the whole evolution process with it. We have our set of core values and we wanted to incorporate them into the logo, but also make it understandable by someone who has not seen our logo before, be able to look at it and at least see a couple of our values without them having to say anything to them. In the world that we live in, I think diversity is quite big and out there at the moment. I think it's widely accepted across the world, and that can mean a number of any things. With us, it dictates really what our individual personalities are like and what makes us the people who we are and the way that we work. If you look at organisations such as the military, they want everybody to be the same, via uniforms and how they act, standing in line, where in reality the human race is a bunch of different millions and billions of different people who are all different in their own way, and that's a genetic thing, and that goes down literally down the lines of evolution that makes us all different. So one thing that we wanted to incorporate with the logo is to try and portray that diversity that we have within ourselves and also within the human race. So one of the things that Nelson and I spoke about is that we wanted to have at least some sort of multicolour aspect in there, and obviously with that we had to be quite careful not to step on any toes in terms of sort of like the Google world or the Pride world, because there's quite a lot of people out there who do try and diversify themselves using their logos as well. So the way we did it, we did use the colour spectrum as sort of like a backdrop, and then we dropped the font over the top of it, and then we kind of had some more like darker shades in there, so we weren't, like I said, stepping on any of those toes. So we wanted to incorporate some other aspects of our core values into the logo. I think the evolution part of our value is in there, how the color spectrum evolves through the logo from one side to the other. Diversity, obviously what we just spoke about with the different colors. Vibrant, I think that's self-explanatory really. The design of it, there is kind of like an artistic feel to it, or like a clean-cut design to it, which is again how we're trying to portray ourselves. It's clean, it's fun, and it's also bold as well, which kind of leads me on to how the font was selected. With fonts, there is a whole million fonts out there that we could have used and that I felt like I actually ended up looking at for it, and I think in this instance sometimes a little bit is more, and so we went with a modern font which is called League Spartan, and we just laid that over the top of the spectrum, and we also have the black and white versions for it, but I think with the colors, it's sort of, like I said, it really does portray who we are as a company and what we want to sort of give back to the human race and improve lives, which is what we're all about. So the finishing touch that we wanted to put on the logo was an aspect of movement. We wanted to do this via something graphical, or what you can see we ended up doing is simply putting the double chevron at the end. Not only did this create a sense of movement throughout the word, looks like it's moving forward, but it also created some balance with the 4 that was on one side. So it really did kind of round off the logo as a whole and gave it a good feel. I've mentioned about the color behind it, but I think with the logo as a whole, we can use it in a simple black and white context, and we can really lay it over anything that we want to. It's good to have a logo that is recognizable, but also that you can change within itself, so that people don't get bored with the same logo all the time. One final aspect that we had to come up with the logo is a more shorthand version. In that, I mean, you'll see a lot of companies nowadays, they'll have the name of the company, but they'll also have a shortened down version. If you look at Facebook, for example, they have the Facebook as their company title, but most of the time you're just going to see the little white F that's with the blue background. I think if you ask anybody in the world nowadays, that in any country that does have Facebook, they're going to know what that F means without looking at it. And that is a big thing identity-wise for companies in the world. If you look at companies such as Nike, for instance, Reebok have it, pretty much Apple have it with their Apple. It's widespread, and I think it's the new modern thing that people are recognizing logos by, especially if you look back sort of to the 70s, 80s and 90s, where I think logos were just too cluttered. So what we did is we came down with the shorthand version of it, which is simply the 4 and the chevrons, and then the words inside the 4 itself. And I think it really does portray sort of like a quick and quirky way that we can have ourselves up there. I can definitely see that as a Facebook profile picture, or being put out there on any of our posts that we want to do social media wise. So it really does sort of round off the whole feel that we're trying to get with the logo. So that kind of finishes off what I wanted to say about the logo, really. I really do think that we have a good foundation to build a good visual identity for 4WARDS as a company that will be recognizable, and that we can use as the employees to get our names out there, to be remembered by, most of all, by the clients that we meet. So in the future, we will be actually having a sort of a set of standards for our visual identity that we will be coming up with, such as PowerPoint templates if we use PowerPoint, and also anything that we use for like social media, cover titles, and even like a color scheme, and even sort of down to your email signature, how we write that, and so that we're all uniform but different. We've got some really good ideas on board, we've got a really good team on board, and I'm really excited to be moving forward with 4WARDS. So thanks for listening to what I have to say. I think the future is very bright for us. We have a great bunch of individuals, those of you I've spoken to so far, very inspiring people to talk to, and there's a lot of energy with this company, and I really do see us portraying that across to whoever's lives we want to improve on that.